Hey everyone, we get questions all the time, of course, how to set up and how to use commissions. So I'm giving you a quick tutorial on how to just really utilize these to the highest extent. I wanted to let you guys know I've met with hundreds of teams. I've never, and brokerages, and have never seen this not be able to work for a team or a brokerage. So anyway, super excited to help make this easier for you guys. First thing you want to do is go admin commissions. And when you come into admin commissions, you're going to be sitting here. First thing you want to do is you want to just put in any entities that are going to get paid. So we have some examples here, but outside referrals is usually something that I see people wanting to add in here. Maybe Zillow, if Zillow is a big part of your business, make sure Zillow's in here. In addition to that, your franchise fees and royalty fees. If a royalty gets paid, if a franchise fee gets paid to the brokerage, or a cap is getting paid to the brokerage, and you are the brokerage, you don't need to put in an entity. But if you are a team and that's being paid to a brokerage, you need to put in an entity of the brokerage, whatever brokerage that is, going out to the brokerage. And then if you're paying a royalty out to corporate or the franchisor, that franchise royalty fee should be being paid to the franchisor. So that would be whichever brokerage, corporate entity. So anyway, just any entity that's going to be getting paid, you just want to make sure you can track those. Any entity that is already in our platform, such as all of your agents, such as you as in this case, Sisu Real Estate Team / brokerage, whatever account this is in as an adjustment entity. So you don't need to add those in, just any outside entities. So anyway, hopefully that makes sense. Moving down to categories. On the category, you're basically going to give it a name. You're going to say, I'm going to add this or deduct it. A good example would be a transaction fee. The transaction fee may get deducted from, let's just say, the agent and paid to the team. So in that case, you would only need to do a deduct. But in some cases, it's just an add, because in some cases, it's not the agent paying that, it is the client paying that. So whatever use cases you have, I recommend setting those up as a standard. You can adjust this on a one-off basis, on a per transaction basis. But anything that's going to be standard for you, I recommend you set up upfront so that it can just be the same thing every time. And then we can actually set up, once you get a commission form set up, we can go in and set up templates so that you're not having to actually go make individual adjustments every time. So then the third thing over here is your Cda instructions. The one thing I want to point out here is if you are a brokerage, these will look much different than if you are a team. So go ahead and write these in exactly how you want it to be. If you are a team, you're basically telling your brokerage exactly where all of the payouts go. If you're a brokerage, you're telling your title company just to give you guys that gross commission amount that's up in the top right-hand corner of the CDA. And that will allow you to then make the disbursements out to all of your agents. And then the last thing here, the commission form templates. When you do have templates, if you want to edit these, and that's really just changing the name, or if you want to remove one of these because it's not actually, maybe it had something in it that you didn't want to save as a template, you just come in here to admin commissions, commission form templates, to remove that template or to edit the name. So coming into a transaction. So I can hit edit and come in and get to commissions, which I think is what most of you do. However, I can also just come straight from there into the commission form. And so that makes it so I don't hit transaction form and then commission form. I just pop straight into the commission form. So once we get in here, The most important thing to making sure you get this right is making sure that the transaction amount, the GCI, and the agent paid income are correct. So if this transaction is $775,000 and the GCI is 3%, I'm just verifying that it's 3% in this case, so that's accurate. And then the gross agents paid income. So this is the total amount going to all agents. In other words, it's the only thing that's not coming to you. So I'm going to change this and say, in this case, this is a 50-50 split. So that's the first thing I want to make sure is 100% accurate. Now, I have met with some brokerages that in a brokerage scenario, sometimes you actually want to give the agent 100% of this. And then down in the post splits, you actually want to just take possibly what your fees are. And so we'll jump into that in a minute, but you would just come in here and you would add maybe let's just say that you were getting a brokerage fee on that. That's where you could come in, and if it was 12.5%, you would actually make the entity, instead of being an outside brokerage, you would make that yourself right here. And so I recommend you do that in the setup where you come in and make sure that that entity is yourself. And so I'm actually going to bounce back over there because in this adjustment categories, there's a couple of things I wanted to go over that I didn't. So when I make this a deduct, I'm then going to say, is it an amount or a percent? And 99% of the time, that's going to be a percent, unless it's a transaction fee or something like that, where you take $495 every time. So if that's a percent, I then need to come in and choose the entity. So you can see these entities are the entities that you set up as third-party entities over here. Then you have the Sisu team brokerage, which is whoever the paying customer is here, which would be either your team or your brokerage. And then if you have teams or groups within your team or brokerage, those would show up right here, and you could have those. So if you have a team within your team or a team within your brokerage, you could actually have that as the entity that gets paid here. You then have your ISAs and then all of your active agents. We also have your inactive agents down here, but in most cases you won't be using that. So that's something you want to make sure you get in here. And then the other thing I want to make sure that you get in here is, if it's a transaction fee, make sure that you put the use as a transaction fee. We're doing some things to help you track which fees are transaction fees. But even more importantly, I want you to set up and say apply to brokerage cap or apply to royalty cap. And we have a separate video that walks you through how to do your caps. But you absolutely, in order to track your caps correctly, you either need to apply it to the royalty cap or to the brokerage cap. If you apply it to this cap, that is not going to actually track your caps correctly. So make sure it's one of these two, doesn't matter which one, or both if you have two different types of caps. Hopefully that makes sense. I'm going to jump back over here. So on this particular one, I'm going to add this. And now if I come down here, you can see if I would have given that agent 100%, that would have taken out the $1,500 that it gets paid to me as a brokerage. And you can see it's going to outline it here for you, and then all of the payments are going to be outlined down here for you. So I'm just going to go through a couple of different scenarios. If you're a team, this is more likely going to be 50% or whatever your team splits are. So we're going to make that 50%, and now I'm going to update it. So once I update that, make sure you hit update and you see that it was successfully updated right here. Once you've done that, now you're ready to add in any different adjustments. So if I have a referral, I'm just going to use Zillow as an example here. And if that's 30% or 35%, I'm just going to add it. And now you can see off the top, there's $6,975 that gets taken out and is paid to Zillow. So the actual amount coming into my brokerage here is not $23,250. The actual amount is right here in the adjusted GCI, which is $16,275. And then if it's a 50-50 split, you can see this is showing that the team is getting 50% and the agent is getting 50%. So then if there are any adjustments that get taken out pre-split, an example of that might be a brokerage fee. Sometimes that gets paid directly by the agent. In most cases, I see that get paid actually off the top. And so whatever your split is, it's going to come off before anyone gets paid. And so if you're at a 50-50, it's getting paid 50% by the agent, 50% by the team. If you're at a 40% team, 60% agent, 40% of that would be paid by the team, 60% by the agent. So anyway, that's the way pre-splits work. Pre-splits are just going to take the money and it's going to come out of here, which is going to leave each of these entities with their pro rata portion of that. In addition, here's another one, ISA adjustment. If I have an ISA that's getting paid $500, that might be a flat fee that I'm giving him on every transaction. In this case, it looks like it is an amount, not a percent. And if I needed to pay him $750 or her on this one, I'm just going to change it right there. And in this case, Bob Marley, who's an ISA, is going to get that $750 as a part of this transaction. So I'm going to update that. And so that was paid equally by the team here and by the agent. So now when you come down here, our adjusted GCI after these adjustments is $13,490, and 50% of that is still going to both the team and to the agent. So then if there are any splits, if there's another internal agent involved, so the referral went out up top, whether that's Zillow or an outside referral from somebody, then I would have just logged that as an outside referral. So essentially, I would have just changed that entity to outside referral here. So I'm going to update that so you can see that. And I probably would have changed it to 25% as well. So now in the agent splits, this is showing that another agent is getting a split here. And so if I wanted to give an agent a split, what I'm going to do is I would come down and I would choose that agent. Let's just say that agent's Frank. And maybe he was my showing assistant on this. And I committed to giving him 5% of the transaction. And so this is where that would happen. Actually, dashboard credit. That's dashboard credit is if you want the dashboards to show Frank getting 5%, which most people wouldn't do that. So I'm going to delete that. And I'm going to give full dashboard credit to the primary agent. But I am going to do a split here, and I'm going to give 5% of the agent paid income to that agent. And so when I come in and do that, you can see Frank now got $337 for being my showing assistant. Now, one of the things I did want to show you on this is most of the time this is being split from the agent paid income. But if it's going to be split from the adjusted GCI, I would choose to click this and have it calculate from the GCI rather than pay from the paid income. So that's what that is. I have seen a few use cases where that happens, so we've added that in there. So I'm going to come back into this commission form. So here we are after the agent splits. Frank is now getting $337. And now any post-split adjustments that need to be made. So the most common post-split here is maybe, and I'm going to delete this adjustment we made earlier here just to clean this up. And so here in my post splits, I don't have anything in here yet. So I'm going to say that the team is collecting a transaction fee. And so just going to come in and hit transaction fee. Everything is already put in here. We know that our normal transaction fee is $495. So that is going to now calculate the $495 coming directly to the team. If there are anything that these agents need to pay, such as E&O insurance, or if they are paying, instead of that something coming from the pre-splits, if they're paying a royalty or a cap to the brokerage that is not being shared by the team, that would come out right here. And so then you have all your totals down here. These are your total payouts. So we can see that Bob Marley, my ISA, is getting something. Frank, my showing assistant, is getting something. The brokerage has their $2,000. And then the outside referrals has its $69.75. So when all is said and done, the team is making $72.40, and this primary agent is making $64.08. Now, once I get to this and I know this is accurate, I want to certify this for payment. When I click certify for payment, you can see it actually locks the agent from being able to access the transaction. They are still able to get into tasks. They are also still able to get into documents and the commission form, as long as you have it turned on where they can see this commission form. They can't make changes to it. It's a read-only version of the commission form. So now I'm going to say that this CDA was approved by Trevor, and I'm going to print this CDA. When I print this CDA, here's all the payouts that the brokerage is going to make, with the exception of the outside referral. Outside referral is going to get paid off the top. So what ends up happening is the gross amount coming into the brokerage right here ends up being, again, $16,000, not the $23,000 that was coming off the top. So let me come back in here and just show you that. So we had $23,000 total GCI, but that outside referral adjustment makes it so the brokerage is actually getting paid this $16,275. So now this CDA is ready to go. If I am a brokerage, I'm going to put in the instructions to have the title company send the office gross commission to me, the broker. If I'm a team, I'm going to give this to my brokerage and to my title company, letting them know this gets paid to the brokerage and these get paid out to my team. So anyway, hopefully that answers your questions. You can see the title company is in here as well. And for some of you, that's actually the escrow company as well. So that being said, I think that wraps it up on commissions, with one exception. If this is something that I'm doing on a regular basis, let's say Zillow happens to be something that I do on a regular basis, and this is a typical Zillow team split. So what I would do is I would come in and create a template that I called Zillow team split. And of course you can call this anything you want, and I would just create a template. And this is for all transactions, or either buy or sell only. So in this case, I've now created a template that I can come in here and I can share and use in the future. So anyway, hopefully that helps sum up a lot of questions you guys have. Once you get a few of these done, create your templates. And when you create those templates, you will basically be able to have every single one of these deductions just happen real time. So when you create your templates, I highly recommend you not have any agent splits, because those are probably not the norm. And usually you're actually going to take out these referrals as well. and just have it be your typical brokerage adjustments. Probably take out your ISA adjustment there as well. ISA adjustments could also happen here. This is where I would actually recommend the ISA adjustment happen, is in the agent splits. And then let me clarify that. That's if the agent is paying that out of the agent paid income. If that's being paid by the team or brokerage and the agent, that's why this one's here in the pre-splits. So anyway, you guys, hopefully this helps. Let us know if you have any questions. The best way to reach our team is to come over here and click on this chat. And if you have any questions on top of this, we can answer those and help take care of you there. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.